Hello, this is Charel, and welcome back to my little digital corner. I love science, so naturally, science fiction is a genre that I find myself reaching out for quite often. This year, I went from surviving on Mars to meeting an alien in space to bringing dinosaurs back to life and to watching a man and a cat fight their way through an intergalactic dungeon. So today, I'm sharing the six science fiction books I read this year, what I thought about them, which one I struggled to connect most with, and which ones are my favorite. So, if you're a fellow sci fi reader or you're looking for your next science fiction read, let's get into it. The first one is Project Hail Mary. This is one of my earliest sci fi read and also one of my favorite reads for this year. So, in this book, we follow Raylan Grace. And so, this Raylan Grace, he wakes up in a spaceship with no memory of who he is or what he's doing there. As his memories slowly return, he discovers that he is on a mission that could determine the future of humanity. I absolutely love this book. That's why this is one of my favorite reads of the year. And the author has a way of explaining science that makes it fascinating instead of intimidating. What I love about this book is the balance between the heart, humor, and the science. There were moments that made me laugh, moments that kept me on the edge of my seat, and a friendship in this book that I will never forget. If you are new to science fiction, this book is an excellent place to start. This is 5 over 5 for me, 5 stars over 5 for me, and I finished this book. I clearly remember I finished this book during a break in the clinic where I was working, and I was low key clapping because I really loved, especially the ending of this book. It was so touching for me. So, yeah, it's really a great book. Next is Next book is The Martian by Andy Weir. This follows the story of astronaut Mark Watney, who was left in Mars by accident. He has to use a lot of science, engineering, and creativity just to survive in Mars, and while hoping that Earth could bring him home. One thing that I really enjoyed is Mark's sense of humor, that even in impossible situations, he keeps on joking. So that makes the story kind of fun instead of being dangerous. Again, there is a lot of science in there, but I find it so easy to follow. I actually enjoyed learning as I read. If you like survival stories with clever problem solving, I highly recommend this one. It's also 5 out of 5. But I have something to say. I have watched The Martian so many times in Disney Channel because it's also one of my favorite movies to watch. So what I realized is that there's so much difference on the last part or the ending of the story because they have a different way in rescuing Mark Watney from space, from Mars. So that was it. I don't want to do what do you call it? I don't want to do spoiler, but if you have watched The Martian and if you have also w- read this book, then you will realize the difference of the ending. There is a difference in the ending. Yeah. So, but still, it's 5 out of 5 for me, and I really enjoyed this book. Highly recommend it. We're done with The Martian, and we go to the next book, and that is Jurassic Park. Finally, I've read Jurassic Park because my son, who is very fond of dinosaurs, as you can see, we have we have a dinosaur there. We have a Spinosaurus. Jurassic Park is so much more than dinosaurs. The story asks a fascinating question. Just because science allows us to do something, does that mean that we should? It is exciting, suspenseful, and actually thought provoking. The author Michael Crichton blends real scientific ideas with an action packed story, making everything believable. If you have only seen the film, I think the book is worth reading because it goes deeper into the science and ethics behind the park. My rating is 5 out of 5. I really enjoyed it, and it's brutal. Brutal. The next one is the sequel of this story, which is Michael Crichton's The Lost World Jurassic Park. So after enjoying Jurassic Park, I immediately picked up The Lost World. This book follows another expedition involving the dinosaurs, but it reveals a discovery of another island. But I don't want to spoil the first book. So what I will do is that what I'll say is that this is a really great sequel to the Jurassic Park. And when you read the first book, you should also be reading this one because it's a great continuation. And then we have Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451, also one of my favorite books of the year. And I even have a separate video because this is one of the books. This is one sci-fi book that has led me to appreciate to read the Bible even more. So the story takes place in a future where books are banned and the firefighters, instead of putting out fires, they burn books. It is really quite a short novel, but it involves powerful questions such as censorship, knowledge, technology, and the importance of reading. And it definitely made me stop and think after I read it. And even after I read a few passages, it made me really realize something. So, if you enjoy classics that leave you reflecting long after you've turned the last page, I'd recommend giving this a try. It's really a great book for me. And yeah, give it a try. Fahrenheit 451. Now we've come to the last book that I've read this year, the last sci fi book that I've read this year. So, hmm, Dungeon Crawler Carl. I enjoyed this, but not so much. Now, I know I'm one of the minorities that didn't enjoy this book. There are really a huge fan base of this book. I know that they cannot stop reading it, and they have even like read the rest of the series. What can I say? And I can absolutely see why, because there's really uh, so many people who enjoyed reading this book. For me, though, it didn't quite live up to the hype. I think part of it was the mood I was in while I was reading it, because sometimes you pick the right book at the wrong time, and that can really affect your enjoyment. But I still appreciated the humor, the creativity, the unique premise, but it wasn't just a five-star read for me. But I'd definitely be open to reading the series in the future, because maybe if I pick it when I have the right mood, when I'm on the right mood, then maybe I will enjoy it. So I'm still open to reading the series, but somehow I really still enjoyed it. But I mean, that much. So these are all the science books that I've read this year. I really enjoyed exploring this genre, and I still think I will still continue to reach out for books within this genre. Each story offered a different perspective for me, and ultimately learned great lessons from these books. Not every book was a five-star read for me, and that's perfectly okay. Reading is such a personal experience, and sometimes the timing or even your mood can sometimes influence how much you enjoy the book. That's part of what makes reading so interesting. We can all read the same book and come away with different opinions. That's how unique reading is. I would love to hear from you. Which of these books have you read? And what's your favorite science fiction novel? If you have any recommendations, please leave them in the comments, because I'm always looking for my next great read. Thank you so much for spending a little part of your day with me. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!